Has come and gone, and the continent is waiting with bated breath to see how the Africa Continental Free Trade Area pans out. According to the World Customs Organization, contradictory and outdated laws and regulations, resistance to change, and probably a lack of transparency in customs administration operations in many African countries have been identified as major challenges to ensuring that free trade takes off. Well, someone who's watching developments closely is Adrian Saville, Chief Investment Officer at Cannon Asset Management, and joins me now on Wednesday lunchtime. Adrian, good afternoon to you. Is this going to work, do you think?
Jeremy, we have to put all of our positive New Year energy behind it because it's a really important initiative. There's a lot of evidence that shows the benefits, the wide economic, social, and competitive benefits that come about when you get these types of arrangements right. And Europe and East Asia are two really good examples of having got these things right. The backstory, of course, to this new arrangement is not years but decades of interwoven, might be polite, rather a spaghetti bowl of policy initiatives, programs, and proposals that are interwoven, interlaced, twist back on themselves, and really have left a very, very complicated and confused policy landscape. So this is a reset button that really affords quite extraordinary opportunity to bring about economic, social, and industrial benefits.
All right, so how then do we unravel the bowl of spaghetti? What are the biggest impediments?
Well, you know, that is in part what this free trade agreement has squared up to. It's put all of those legacy agreements to the side and has a fresh raft of signatories. It really is a Pan-African initiative. And these signatories have agreed to the reset terms and conditions that have at their heart an ambition to bring about Pan-African trade. If you look at the numbers, the extent to which goods and services trade between African economies, it stands at about 10% of total trade. The global benchmark is about 50%. And when you recognize that the further you are from your trade partner, the more expensive it is, that is competitive it is, the bigger the inefficiencies, time delays, and so on. I think just from that simple 10 to 50 prospect, with the improvement of share of trade, you get a sense of how profound this free trade agreement could be if we get it right.
Things like policy and technology can be overcome, but how much is there of a philosophical problem? Being able to foster trust and cooperation between the different countries. Isn't that the single biggest impediment?
Jeremy, I think that's a great point. I would suggest that alongside that there is also the infrastructural hurdle or constraint. That if you think of Pan-African infrastructure, it still retains the deep legacy of colonial regimes, which established infrastructure that was overarchingly extractive. In other words, to get goods from Africa to the advanced world. So alongside the mindset, the thinking, the philosophy of is this really a win-win opportunity? If you've cleared that hurdle, you then also need to square up to the physical infrastructural hurdle. And there remains a substantial disagreement as to the nature and extent of benefits. Over the last 10 years or so, through the Gordon Institute of Business Science, where I have my professorship, I've been involved in the Visa Africa Integration Index, which measures the nature and the extent of African economic integration or connectedness. And the evidence is strongly in favor. It would be sweeping to suggest that it is unambiguous. Of course, there are cases where you get win-lose or even lose-lose outcomes through trade arrangements, but the evidence is overwhelmingly in favor win-win, that by finding business and trade partners, countries do better. And that's the work of more than 10 years of research covering 20 countries that represent more than 95% of Africa's GDP.
Adrian Saville, thank you very much indeed.